Warn your children. That's the most important thing I can stress, is they aren't safe anymore.
I never want another parent to feel what we're feeling now.
It never occurred to me that it would be this fentanyl.
When they told me that in the last 4 days, 6 people had OD'd on fentanyl, I was like, why is nobody talking about this?
Andrew and Dion Butler agonized by the sudden, unexpected loss of their 17-year-old daughter, Clara.
This was the last photo I took of her that night. She knocked on the door, I heard her say, "Clara, you need to get up," and
Unfortunately, I didn't notice until it was too late. My daughter was on home from college break. She was a student at Arizona State University. And before going to bed, unbeknownst to us, she had reached out to a drug dealer on Snapchat in search of oxycodone. He delivered it to our house, and my wife found my daughter dead in her bed the next morning.
Mexican cartels are sending powder across the border that's pressed and stamped in the U.S. to look like the real thing.
Fentanyl pills, and they are being produced off of the border by criminal organizations. And what they do is they make them look exactly like a pharmaceutical grade oxycodone or Percocet or Xanax, and when in reality is a counterfeit opioid sold through Snapchat to unsuspecting children who think they're buying a pharmaceutical grade pill, and what they're receiving is a counterfeit pill, are lethal. And that's exactly what took my son's life as well. Unfortunately, he reached out to a drug dealer on Snapchat. It was delivered to 1 block from our home on March 31st, and on April 1st, I walked into his room and I saw what no parent should ever have to see, and that was my dead son.
Hi, my name is April Babcock. I lost my son, Austin Babcock. I lost my son-in-law, Matthew Russell, due to fentanyl poisoning, and I'm pissed off, and I'm mad, and I'm not going to shut up. And I'm having a rally in Washington, D.C. at the Chinese Embassy on August 27th. We're a group called Lost Voices of Fentanyl, and we're becoming an army, and we're not going away, and we're pissed.
Alexander was 14 years old, had this bright idea that he wanted to try OxyContin, and he reached out to a drug dealer through Snapchat who sold him what he believed to be a legitimate prescription pill. And it turned out to be illicit fentanyl, enough fentanyl to kill 4 people.
The warning for all parents.
This is Matthew Thomas, February 4th, 2000 to July 25th, 2020. He was 20.
Matthew is one of the many faces of fentanyl.
I'm determined to make a difference and to save kids and save families from going through what we've had to go through.
He lived the most incredible life. He loved life, he loved people, he loved his family.
For years, the Didier family was treated to beautiful music like this. But since the sudden and shocking death of their beloved Zachary, the piano has fallen silent. A straight-A student with what seemed to be a limitless future.
Tiffany was, she was an incredibly talented vocalist. She made the semifinals for American Idol twice. Made you feel good about yourself just being around her. And she would see something that needed fixing and she would do something about it. And so her loss wasn't just a loss for us, but it was a loss to our communities.
What do you think she would think about what you're doing now?
She would be angry at me if I didn't. If her life had to be lost, she would want it to mean something and for it to be able to help someone else. And so in the spirit of that, I've carried that on for her. But I couldn't in myself look at all the other parents who are suffering as I have and all of the other lost lives and not do something about it. It was just too much to bear. In this environment, one bad choice can end their life. I had no idea that it was on the black market. I had no idea that they were contaminating drugs and I absolutely had no idea they were making counterfeit prescription pills. So it was really shocking when I got that phone call that Monday morning, telling me that my daughter, of all people, was gone. We have entire families being wiped out and it's not even making the headline news, and I don't understand it. Warn your children. That's the most important thing I can stress, is they aren't safe anymore.